All right, I don't know what happened, but here we go. So Teofimo Lopez tells Shakur Stevenson that he will cheat him. Excuse me, all these wires and stuff. Um, yeah, the Corey Holcomb live stream that I don't know what happened. It just ended. So, um, and it wasn't. I don't think it was a YouTube thing. It was just across. I don't know what was going on with the software, but I was really about to really, close it out, but really dig in, at the same time. But nonetheless, uh, I'm not surprised. T.O. been quiet. His father lied known with cheating ass Eddie Renato. At some point, we know they got to cheat to compete. And that's a fact. They have to cheat to compete. And when they cheat, to keep it a being, when they get in there and cheat, it's pretty much to this fact of it's not frowned upon. It's really not talked about. It's really not, harped on. It's really not, nobody really puts they belt the ass. And that's why I ain't talked about Tank. Because they didn't talk about Lomachenko in that same manner. Not Lomachenko, but Kovalev in that same manner. Edwin Valero. We can just go on and on with the number of boxers that was similar to those things. So I don't really get into that, honestly. I'm not getting into it. I'm not getting into it. So I'll just let that be. But I do see that she is pressing criminal charges, which in my mind, gives it even more credibility. And to what I've seen, it doesn't look like she went to the internet. At least, she wasn't, I didn't see it. So, but let's go.
In boxing, what do you have to do to break that defense?
There's a lot of different ways to do it. And although some may think it's illegal, it's still legal. So it's just all about making sure that I practice it. Bruce Lee mentions it. Bruce Lee mentions
anything dirty will be reciprocated, brother.
Stylistically, when you see a fighter like him, it is not illegal to do certain punches and throw certain punches or hit certain areas. It's not, as long as it's not below the belt line.
So, let me translate that, right? I'm going to cheat by any means necessary, but in boxing terms, excuse me, in boxing terms, that pretty much means he about to hit him on the hip. He going to hit him on the elbow. He's going to try to hit him, in the kidneys. He's going to try to punch him in the heart. Those are the type of things that Teofimo Lopez is going to be trying to do to Shakur Stevenson. So, and also translation, I got to make it a rough fight to get the openings I want to get from him. And the thing about that, which all things that have been done before, Chavez was known for hitting people on the hip. It debilitates the movement. It's an illegal punch. Somebody got a point deducted for that. And people are trying to argue me. People are trying to argue me about the point being deducted for, buddy hitting him on the hip. Okay. And I'm like, it's an illegal punch. If it's illegal, it's illegal. Regardless if they call it in Iowa, they don't call it in Iowa, but they call it in Vegas, it's illegal. And that's one thing about boxing. It has too much subjectivity to it. There's not enough concrete rules. It's just a subjective sport with a lot of objective opinions, right? Or non-objective opinions for real. So he's basically telling him that he knows he has to fight dirty to have a chance to win the fight. Elbows, heart shots, hip shots, kidney shots. He gonna try anything. Headbutts, elbows. And that just already lets you know that he's in a position of weakness. Now, when you do that and you want to fight a rough and tough fight, and that means you're going to close the gap on Shakur Stevenson and you don't have to close the gap. and make him fight in closed spaces like Williams Zepeda did. A, you got to be able to take the punishment. B, you also have to be able to have the conditioning. And I don't like Teofimo's conditioning. He's not a 12-round, 36-minute fighter. He fades towards the end. He doesn't fight at a high pace. And I'm going to say this as a side note. A lot of these fighters today, no way in hell they could be 15-round fighters. A lot of these guys couldn't fight 15 rounds if they had to. And a lot of these guys don't get knockouts because they don't even try to throw more than one or two punch at a time. So a lot of these guys, you know, either they will have fatigue knockouts, bro. But, you know, and also, you know, you don't think he's going to try to cheat him outside the ring? Absolutely. Especially when I can feel like I could be racist, right? I can be racist, you know, and really not get canceled, which it ain't really much to cancel this dude on. You know, of course he gonna try to cheat because he see how the other Hispanics, Oscar Valdez, Canelo Alvarez, Ryan Garcia, Julio Cesar Martinez, you know, the list goes on and on. Eric Morales, he's seeing how those guys get a slap on the wrist, and he like, shit, you know, even if I get caught, even Jarrell Miller survived and bounced back. So why not? Excuse me. Ryan Garcia cheated and got popped for 2 drug tests, blew off the weight by what, 3 or 4 pounds. And people still want to credit to him like he won that fight. But if it's a brother, you know, we know what that is because we stay whooping ass and taking names. You know, if it's a brother, it's like, oh no, you know what I'm saying? This is bad. He should be banned, and he should be banned for life. And you know what the deal is, right? So, but you know, he's just gonna make it a rough fight. And he's probably going to try to cheat outside the confines of the boxing ring. He's probably gonna put that, you know, that juice up his ass. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. So, you know, at the end of the day, that's why, you know, he probably been quiet. You know, they working on different techniques and all this type of stuff, but he got to close that gap. In order to close that gap, he don't have the feet, so he got to be able to take the punishment. He ain't that type of fighter. He's one of those fighters that allows somebody else to create his offense. He ain't no pressure fighter. He don't have the conditioning to be a great pressure fighter, and that's where William Zepeda really effed up at. He wasn't conditioned enough, and then Zepeda don't know how to change speeds of his punches. A lot of these fighters today don't know how to change the speed of their punches. It's all one speed. It's all one speed. Therefore, if you're throwing everything hard, of course you're gonna be tired. Of course, you ain't gonna be a strong 12 rounds. You gotta know how to pace yourself. But in reality of it, you know, I'm pretty sure Shakur Stevenson, his grandfather, had a nice inkling. I'm pretty sure they had a nice inkling that this was gonna happen. That this is what they had to do to make it a rough fight, put him in close corner. I don't think Teo has the skill set to do that. And if he does, I think he's gonna have to be able to take the punch variety. He's going to be able to have to take the punch and just close the gap. He got to work on holding. Even when you hold him, it's an old dirty trick when you hold him and you pull their arm down. Where you try to really pull that shoulder out their socket. You shoulder them to their mouth. use the shoulder and pop them in their mouth. You know, Usyk does that. So, you know, but hey, it is what it is, or it is what it ain't. Hit the link in the description, join the Patreon, follow me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Amazon, Kick, Twitch, the whole nine. Appreciate the love, support. Check out the Box News playlist for more videos like this. Peace.